The B-21 Raider was formally unveiled by Northrop Grumman on Friday in front of a small audience, giving the public its first look at America's next stealth bomber. Since the B-2 Spirit, the Raider's predecessor, entered service in 1997, the B-21 is the first new bomber the U.S. has fielded in a quarter century. After years of clandestine construction, America's newest nuclear stealth bomber made its public debut on Friday as part of the Pentagon's response to growing worries about a potential clash with China. The B-21 Raider is the country's first brand-new bomber in more than 30 years. Almost all facets of the program are secret. The public first saw the Raider in a tightly controlled ceremony as dusk fell over the Air Force's Plant 42 in Palmdale. The three remaining bombers, the B-52 Stratofortress, the B-1 Lancer, and the B-2 Spirit, flew over the crowd to begin. The B-21 was then partially dragged out of the building as the hangar doors slowly opened. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin stated, "This isn't just another airplane. It exemplifies America's will to protect the republic that we all cherish." In order to compete with China's quick military modernization, the Pentagon is working to update all three components of its nuclear triad, which also includes silo-launched nuclear ballistic missiles and submarine-launched bombs. The Pentagon stated this week in its annual China report that China is on track to have 1,500 nuclear weapons by 2035 and that its advancements in hypersonic, cyber warfare and space capabilities pose the most consequential and systemic challenge to U.S. national security and the free and open international system. When the Raider contract was announced in 2015, Air Force Secretary Deborah Lee James stated, "We needed a new bomber for the 21st century that would allow us to take on much more difficult threats, like the ones that we think we will one day face from China and Russia." The Raider may look identical to the B-2, but once inside, the similarities end, according to Kathy Warden, CEO of Northrop Grumman Corporation, the company that is making the bomber. Because technology has improved so much in terms of the computational capabilities that we can now include in the software of the B-21, Warden added, the way it runs internally is incredibly sophisticated compared to the B-2. Other modifications include the employment of cutting-edge materials in coatings to make the bomber more evasive, according to Austin. The development of this aircraft spans 50 years of low observable technology, according to Austin. Even the most advanced air defense systems will have difficulty seeing a B-21 in the skies. The employment of new propulsion technologies, as well as new methods for controlling electronic emissions, could enable the bomber to fool enemy radars and pass for another object, according to various defense specialists. It is quite difficult to observe, according to Warden. You won't actually see it, but you'll hear it. There are 6 Raiders in the works. The Air Force intends to construct 100 of these unmanned aircraft that can carry out nuclear or conventional bombing missions and be operated with or without a crew. The Raider's very speedy development is another selling point for Northrop and the Air Force. It only took 7 years from the contract award to the first flight of the bomber. It took decades to complete other new fighter and ship programs. The bomber's price is unknown. It's unclear how much is actually being spent, although the Air Force previously estimated the cost at $550 million on average per unit in 2010 prices, or $753 million now. Depending on how many bombers the Pentagon purchases, the total will vary. This aircraft will soon be flown, tested, and put into production. Additionally, we will increase the size of the bomber force to reflect the upcoming strategic landscape, according to Austin. Government watchdogs express concern over the hidden expense. Dan Grazier, a senior defense policy fellow at the Project on Government Oversight, said, "It might be a tremendous problem for us to perform our typical study of a major program like this. Before the B-21 takes to the air, it is simple to claim that it is still on schedule, considering that serious issues are only found once one of these programs enters the testing phase." He claimed that's when costs start to increase and timelines start to slide. The Air Force manufactured only 21 of the B-2's originally planned more than 100 aircraft due to cost overruns and a changed security situation following the fall of the Soviet Union. Due to the outdated bomber's considerable maintenance requirements, less than that are prepared to take to the skies on any given day. In order to extend its range, the B-21 Raider, which gets its name from the 1942 Doolittle raid over Tokyo, will be a little bit smaller than the B-2, according to Warden. It won't take flight for the first time until 2023. To test the bomber's performance, Northrop Grumman has created a digital twin, a virtual version of the one that was unveiled on Friday, according to Warden. Although the bombers are also anticipated to be stationed in facilities in Texas and Missouri, the bomber's first training program and the squadron will be located at Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota. Republican U.S. Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota spearheaded the effort to have his state host the bomber program. He described it as the most cutting-edge weapon system ever produced by our country to defend ourselves and our allies in a statement. According to Warden, Northrop Grumman has also taken maintenance lessons from the B-2. When B-2 pilots flew for 44 hours straight to drop the first bombs in Afghanistan following the September 11 attacks, they broke a record. Due to its wingspan and the limited number of hangars that can accommodate it, the B-2 frequently does lengthy round-trip missions. The Spirit's lack of operable windows and the fact that hot weather can damage cockpit electronics necessitate the need for air conditioning in the hangars. To accommodate its size and complexity, the new Raider will also receive new hangars, according to Warden. With the Raider's greater range, it won't, however, need to be based there, according to Austin. Logistics won't be required to keep any target in danger. The debut itself also presented a final observable distinction. While both were made public in Palmdale, the B-2 was unveiled in front of a large crowd in 1988. The Raider was only partially exposed due to advancements in surveillance satellites and cameras, keeping its delicate propulsion systems and sensors under the hangar and shielded from above eyes. Warden explained that what you can't see is what gives the platform its magic. With this, we conclude our video. We appreciate you helping us keep it going by watching. The best way to support our channel is to watch another episode. Thank you for tuning in. To ensure that you never miss an episode, please subscribe to the channel.